You have to first unlearn many things before I proceed further with this treatise. The history of the world, as you have learned so far, is a thoroughly screwed up version. This is the general and large truth. When I said the history of the world, I did not mean just the political history of the world. It is the same with the scientific history of the world, the spiritual history of the world, the cultural history of the world, and the economic and trade history of the world, etc. I shall give an example. You have been taught that copper was the first metal extracted by man. No, it's wrong and completely wrong. It was gold as it is available in elemental form, followed much later by iron, which was extracted by the smelting process. Nearly 20,000 years ago, iron was extracted by Shiva, the Lemurian leader, who later became God. Haven't you seen the Poseidon kind of movies where he appears with an iron trident? Yes, Poseidon, the Shiva, was the first smelter of iron. He published this process of extraction as Rig Veda. But the Rig Veda of today doesn't have any mention of it. Yes, just like the four Vedas were screwed up, the entire history of mankind was screwed up by the Brahmins, who are the Jews of India. Kindly watch my video titled Earth-Shaking Facts on the Four Vedas. We are now talking about the history of chess. Recently, Chess Olympiad 44 was conducted at Mahamallapuram in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India. In his inaugural speech during the opening ceremony, the Prime Minister of India stated that chess originated in Tamil Nadu, and that was the reason that the first international game of chess in India was being hosted in Tamil Nadu. He also stated that Tamil is the first language of humanity. These stunning revelations by the government of India are very unlikely. For all these years, the government of India maintained that Sanskrit is the mother of Tamil, and that the official idea on the origin of chess was Gupta dynasty of 7th century, which means that chess originated in North India. These being the long-held official stance, what was the reason for their somersault? Whatever the reason for their somersault be, we are glad that the government of India ultimately realized the truth that Tamil is the first language and chess originated in Tamil land. Owing to this realization and revelation by the government of India, my job is made easier. Yes, chess originated in Tamil land and was screwed up by the Gupta dynasty during the 7th century, and hence this game came into the possession of the Brahmins. Yes, we have to unlearn the long-held dogma that it originated in Gupta period in North India and learn the factual truth that it actually originated in ancient Tamil land. Chess is a war game. That means the invention of this game should have been inspired by a great war that happened in Tamil land. The archaeological discovery of the existence of the game in Indus Valley civilization and the Kizhadi excavations near Madurai suggest that this game should have originated some 3000 years ago. This nominates three candidates for the war that inspired the invention of chess. They are Sura Samharam, Ramayanam, and Mahabarath wars. Sura Samharam was the war that God Murugan waged in Lanka 10,000 years ago to pave the way for agriculture as a pioneering effort. Ramayanam was the war that happened about 7,500 years ago between Rama, the Khazarian Jew, and Ravana, the Lankan king of the Indian subcontinent. Mahabharata was the war that happened about 5,000 years ago between Krishna of southern Tamil land and Saguni, the Khazarian Jew, who came and settled in Kollam region. Of the three, which of these wars inspired the invention of chess? How to know it? These were very ancient wars. All the ancient records of Tamil's history were forcefully confiscated by Parasuram during the 3rd century when he invaded Tamil land from Udupi, who unleashed terror in Tamil land. Hence, Tamils don't have any record of their past. Having forcefully confiscated all the ancient records from Tamils, The Brahmins then presented a completely fake picture of the Tamils' past. Hence, unless the Brahmins tell the true history, we have very little means of learning our past. Have the Brahmins ever told our true history? Yes. In all the narrations of various fake Puranic stories, they have actually encoded the respective true history too. That is their unmistakable style. If you know how to decode them, you shall deduce your true history. I would give a simple example. They have given the clue to the actual Ramayana through a small story on Hanuman. Yes, there is a short story on how camel became the mount of Hanuman. We know that Hanuman himself was a mount of Rama. Then how come the camel became the mount of Hanuman? Surprised? Yes, the mount of Hanuman is camel. Hanuman belonged to the Western Ghats mountain region. Western Ghats is not at all the habitat of camel. The habitat of camel is the desert region. Then how did the camel become the mount of Hanuman? Contrary to the fake Sanskrit Ramayana, which depicts that Rama won the war, Rama actually lost the war and got killed in the Pak Strait called Sethu Samudram. Hence, following the defeat of Rama's army, Hanuman and his warrior people fled to Mauritania of Sahara, fearing persecution by Ravana. In fact, the nation Mauritania was named after Maruti, and Maruti is yet another name of Hanuman. Consolidating this fact, adjacent to Mauritania, there exists a nation called Mali, which was named after Vali, the assassinated brother of Sugriva. Obviously, Hanuman rode camel in his second home, which was the Saharan desert, and hence camel became his mount. This single clue had helped me to establish the factual truth about Ramayana. Kindly watch my research videos on Ramayana, the playlist of which is given in the description box. It goes the same with every Puranic story of the Brahmins. Why are they encoding factual truth in their fake Puranic stories? It is to educate the future generations of the Brahmins of the true history of this land. This knowledge is disseminated through the mutts and Masonic lodges to the chosen Brahmins who take up responsible professions. Having given a solid proof on encoding factual truth in fictional stories, we shall now return to consider the matter regarding chess. Origin of chess also has one such Puranic story. By decoding that story, I have established that Krishna invented chess game. There is a village called Puvanur in the Kaveri river basin called in the name of flower. In that village, there is a temple called Chaduranga Vallabhanath temple. It is in this temple that God Shiva is said to have played the game of chess with Parvati, his consort. The story goes like this. Once a king named Vasudeva ruled in Tirunelveli region of southern Tamil land. He did not have offsprings. He pleaded to Nellayappa, the local deity, for the same. On hearing his plea, God Nellayappa asked his wife Gandhimati to be born as a child for this childless king. Following this, when the king and his wife are bathing in Tamarabarni river, a conch came floating towards them. When they took the conch into their hands, it transformed into a baby girl. They named her Raja Rajeswari. God Nellayappa also sent Chamundi as a nurse to take care of the baby girl. The grown-up girl became proficient in the game of chess. No one could defeat her. The king declared that whoever could defeat Rajeswari in chess could marry her. When the king and his daughter were on pilgrimage to this Puvanur temple, a sage came forward to play chess with Rajeswari. Very quickly and amazingly, he defeated her. The sage then disclosed his true identity. The sage was none other than Shiva. As Shiva played chess in this temple is called Chaduranga Vallabhanath temple. This is the short form of the story told by the Brahmins. Chaduranga means chess and Vallabhanath means valiant leader. The key points in the story are 1. The girl came in the form of a conch and later turned into a baby. 2. God sent Goddess Chamundi as a nurse for the baby. These two critical points were added to help correct decoding of this story. We shall now carry out the decoding task. Who was the king Vasudeva actually? Vasudeva means the lord of the cows, and hence it points to Krishna. The childless Krishna pleaded to Nellayappa to grant him an offspring. Who is Nellayappa actually? When I speak about Nellayappa temple, I have to reveal a general secret. Most of the stone temples of Tamil Nadu, while they appear to have been built for gods like Shiva, Murugan, Krishna, Vishnu, Kali, Lakshmi, Meenakshi, etc., they have actually been built respectively for the forefathers of the Brahmins. I have stumbled upon this great discovery during the past 3 years of my research. These temples were built with Tamil's money and by Tamil artisans, but with the nefarious conspiracy housing the forefathers of the Brahmins, thus cheating the Tamils very badly. Who were the forefathers of Brahmins? Rama and Lakshmana of Ramayana, Saguni and Gandhari of Mahabarath, Parasuram and Durga of Kalabra invasion, and also Jnana Sambandha, Adi Shankara, Moses, Chanakya, Ramanuja, and Purandaradasa, etc. The list shall include Abraham and Sarah too, who are portrayed as Brahma and Saraswati respectively. It shall also include the stooges of the Brahmins like Dhritarashtra of Mahabharata and Hanuman of Ramayana. Having said that, Nellayappa temple too has been built to house Dhritarashtra, Saguni and Gandhari of Mahabharata in the guise of housing Shiva, Vishnu and Parvati respectively. The main temple has 2 sanctum sanctorums. One is for Dhritarashtra manifesting as Sivalingam and the other is for Saguni manifesting as Vishnu. Narasimha Avatar is actually Saguni, who is said to be an incarnation of Vishnu. The goddess Gandhari is housed in a separate temple and is called Gandhimati, who manifests in the guise of Parvati. With this introduction, we shall decode their story of chess. The childless Vasudeva, that is Krishna, pleaded to Nellayappa to grant a child. As said already, Nellayappa represent both Dhritarashtra and Saguni, the duo who represent the Gemini zodiac. But in this current case, we should consider Nellayappa only as Saguni. Following the grant, Gandhari first appears as conch and then turns into a girl baby. The conch here represent war trumpet and hence Saguni. That is why I said that Nellayappa in this case should be considered as Saguni, not as Dhritarashtra. Saguni and his wife Gandhari are the Jews from the Kasar region, and Saguni got his wife Gandhari married to Dhritarashtra, stating that she was his sister as an exchange for iron smelting factory that Dhritarashtra owned. It was an exchange deal. Thus, the baby girl is Gandhari herself, whose husband was Saguni, and to express this connection only, she came as a conch initially. This baby girl is said to have learnt chess when she grew up. As no one is mentioned as a teacher for the same, it implies that Krishna, the foster father of the girl, should have taught this game to the baby girl. It is to facilitate this understanding that Chamundi came as a nursing mother. You shall understand this very soon. Kindly remember that Chamundi is another name for Durga. Before proceeding further, I have to make a thing very clear. The chess as we know it today is not the original version. The original version was modified by the Brahmins to include Parasuram and Durga in the game. Parasuram was introduced as a horse and Durga was introduced as a queen. While Durga was an addition to the existing characters of the game, Parasuram was a replacement for some other original character. Does the story say as to who modified the game? The story doesn't say it explicitly, but it is implied through Chamundi character. The Chamundi character was introduced to imply 2 facts. One such fact is to suggest on who modified the game, and by the very same token to also suggest on who invented the game originally. We have to understand it as follows. It was Father Krishna who invented and taught the chess game to Rajeswari, considered himself as a king in the game. It was Chamundi, the foster mother, who modified the game later, introducing herself as a queen in the game. That is, we are supposed to understand that father created it and mother modified it. That was the reason that Chamundi was introduced as a nursing mother in this crafty story. Hence, by decoding this very crafty story, we have established that Vasudeva Krishna invented chess following his war victory over Saguni. As Mahabarath war happened 5000 years ago, the age of the original chess is also 5000 years. This chess was edited during the Gupta period, that is, the 7th century, by the Brahmins, and these Brahmins represent the Chamundi character in this fake story. As the queen was the additional character introduced into this game, the original 7x7 chessboard became the 8x8 chessboard. Why do I say that queen was introduced as additional character? It is because the Tamils never use woman in warfare, but the Jews commonly use woman in warfare as honey trap to subdue the enemy shamefully. For example, Parsuram sent his wife Durga as a honey trap to love and kill the Mysore king, who is depicted as Mahisasur. She made love with him for 9 days, which is celebrated as Navaratri, and on the 10th day, called Vijaya Dasami, she killed him by cutting his penis with a knife while he was fast asleep. The brass statue that you are seeing now is self-explanatory. She is openly brandishing the penis that she had cut out of the Mysore king. The buffalo is introduced to identify him as the Mysore king. Thus, it is proved that Jews use women in warfare to seduce and kill the enemy shamefully. Hence, queen is only an addition to the original Tamil game, and she is not a replacement for something else. The Brahmins introduced Parsuram also, the husband of Durga, as the horse, calling him knight, replacing some other character in the original game. Can we guess which was that original character that this new knight replaced? His name itself suggests whom he replaced. The knight in his name is the clue. Wars can't be fought without spies. The spies work only in the night times. Hence, spies can be called as night soldiers or simply knight. As the new character is called knight with the same pronunciation as knight, we shall guess that the original character was actually the night soldier. That means the night soldier who was the spy was replaced by the horse and was named as knight. That means K plus knight, knight. What does K represent here? My research during the past 3 years have revealed numerous startling facts. One such fact is that Parsuram represents Saint Nicholas in Christianity. Hence, Saint Nicholas is a fictional character introduced into Christianity by the Jews to remember Parsuram. But Saint Nicholas has the dualistic counterpart called Krampen. That is, Nicholas is saint while Krampen is devil. The meaning is that Parsuram appears as good, but in reality he exists only as a devil. Yes, Parsuram was an epitome of evil, and he was called Krampen in German, which means devil. Thus we understand that the short form of Krampen is K. Having understood the etymological origin of the name knight, we now have to understand why he is represented as a horse. Dhanvantri is actually the Kurma avatar as he came through the seas from Israel to settle in Tamil land during the 2nd century. Dhanvantri's son was Parasuram. As Parsuram's ancestral homeland was Israel, this fact is secretly represented by the horse, which is a desert animal. That is why Hayagriva, the horse-headed man, represents Parsuram. How did the name Hayagriva originate? The Western Ghats mountain range, lying close to the Arabian Sea, is called Parshurama Kshetram, as we all know. Ayam means sea. Giri means mountain range. Ayam plus Giri, Ayagiri, Hayagiri, Hayagriva. Thus we know that the night is actually Parasuram, and as Parasuram is represented by eggs, the night moves in eggs-like L-shaped path. Hence, the original chessboard was 7 by 7 with 5 characters, namely king, ministers, spies, elephant battalion, and the soldiers. The new and modified chessboard is 8 by 8 with 6 characters, namely king, queen, ministers, horse battalion, elephant battalion, and the soldiers. Thus, by decoding the Puranic story, we have established that Krishna was the original inventor of this game. There is much more info in the story itself to prove that this Vasudev is actually Krishna. The name of the village, Puvanur, of this temple and its location in Brindavan, that is Kaveri River Basin, are those further info. Another proof that this game was invented by Krishna was exhibited by conducting the Chess Olympiad 44 as a truly Mahabarath event. It's a huge subject matter which I consider to be beyond the scope of this treatise. Next, just like telling the true history through Puranic stories, the Jews tell the same through their movies too. Kauravam was one such a Tamil movie that was based on Mahabharat, and the chessboard scene was included in it to suggest its relation to Mahabharat. Just watch the song scene, for which I have given the link in the description box. The song sequence depicts the war between Dhritarashtra and Krishna. Even if you don't know Tamil, the song sequence is worth watching. Hence, this movie stands as a proof that chess originated out of Mahabharat war. In fact, by decoding most of the English movies, we shall discover the true history of ancient Tamil land. Do you know that Lion King movie represents Ramayan, Moorish invasion of North India, and the Kalabra invasion of South India? Mahabharat not only produced chess, it also played as a model for the evolution of the judiciary as we know it today. Not only that it played as a model, this epic also generated all the technical words and the philosophy behind the current judiciary too. I would explain this through an exclusive and amazing video soon. Thus, every inhabitant of this world should learn the Indian epics called Ramayan and Mahabharat. The consequences of these two wars have shaped the world as we know it today. Moreover, by learning about the Kalabra invasion of Tamil land, we shall understand the current predicament of the world too.